have a huge amount of guilt as well because we want to serve others and we always want to put other people first. And then when we want to give to ourselves, we feel guilty for doing that.
Oh my God,
Right?
such a stigma that needs to be broken. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Empowering Real Talk. It's your girl, Coach K. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before I get started, you know the drill. Make sure if you have not, please subscribe to the Upgraded Mindsets media channel. If you are listening on your audio platform, then make sure you have favorited Empowering Real Talk on your favorite platform. Listen, I love to dive into conversations that are necessary. This episode is going to be no different. If you are somebody who is stuck and uncertain about life's purpose just overall, then I definitely want you to tune in because we got something for you today. So if you are looking at my beautiful face, then you see that I am not here by myself. I'm going to allow my guest the honor of introducing herself. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Please let the listeners know your name, where you from, and then we'll kind of dive into a little bit of your backstory. I'm excited to talk with you.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'd love to share, and hopefully there can be some good nuggets here for people to walk away from.
Oh, I definitely believe that for sure. Let the listeners know who you are.
Okay, well, my name is Mina Satori, and I'm based in Colorado. A native in California, and I am an ontological coach and a marketing strategist. And
Ooh.
if people are wondering what ontological coach means, it's basically a philosophy of how people are being. So ontology is the study of being, and the way we show up and how we're being drives the things that we do. And so I coach on that deeper level of bringing alignment to the person with how they show up, what they're doing, and the outcomes and results that they're getting.
I absolutely love it. And I'm definitely excited to get into that with you because I really believe that you are doing so much good out here, especially when it comes to us being, because a lot of us don't really even know what that means for us. So I'm really excited to get into that more with you and really talking about our inner selves. Because I think now's the time for us. Well, it's been the time, but I really just think now I'm really heightened and really helping people and talking about, discovering what your inner selves looks like, and just excited to dive into someone who shares in that like-minded philosophy of our authentic selves. So please tell us a little more, because me and you had a chat before we scheduled this recording, and I really would love for you to share with the listeners, if you don't mind, a little bit about your backstory and what got you started and where you are today.
Yeah. So where I started growing up, it was probably a very unstable environment, I would say. A lot of uncertainty, mental illness ran through the family. And so, there was some child neglect and abuse. And so, as I became a teenager, I was very depressed by that time. And I was having a lot of suicidal tendencies. And I was really lost and didn't really have purpose in life. And when I went to college, I decided to study psychology. And I believe it was because I wanted answers. I wanted to understand human behavior and get answers for myself.
Yeah.
And so it's a very fascinating topic for me. And to this day, I use my psychology degree a lot in everything that I do for my work and my purpose and helping people. But I didn't just, decide one day I want to be a coach. It was more like this rude awakening, I guess you could say. Graduated with my psychology degree and criminal justice, and I was actually going to go down the path of government and law. But at that time, I was working in the mortgage industry, paying my way through college as a loan processor. And when I graduated, I stayed in that industry, and I started getting promoted, and I was going into more corporate work and making really good money. And I stayed in it because of the money, but it wasn't really something that I was really passionate about. However, I stuck in there for a good 10 years.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the mortgage crash happened, and
Ooh.
I just overnight lost my job,
Oh,
and
wow.
I became lost and I didn't know what to do with my life. And it was a tough time for a lot of people, flooding the job market. And then, of course, we went into the recession. And for about a year, I was schlepping around trying to figure out what I wanted to do to
Yeah.
earn income. And I couldn't figure it out. And I stumbled on a seminar that my friend invited me, and she said, let's go to this. And we carpooled together to LA. And at that time, um, you know, this was when life coaching wasn't really well known.
Right.
And we went there, and the woman that was doing the seminar was a life coach, and she offered her complimentary session to the audience. And I decided to take it. Something told me, I'm just going to see what she has to offer. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made,
I
because
love it.
I decided to sign up for the program. And she helped me to overcome a lot of my insecurities and lack of self confidence and fears that I had.
Yeah.
Um, and, within 5 months, we cleared so many things that I was just, feeling so much better through all of the tools and the guidance that she gave me.
Right.
And one by one, I was looking at different career paths, and I was getting her support to really look at those and see which one I wanted to pursue. And none of them actually were a good fit. So she suggested, how about coaching as a career? And I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I could see myself doing this because I love helping people, and I have this natural knack for people to want to always come to me with their problems, anyways.
I love it. I love
You
it.
know, I'll have strangers literally, walking up to me and sharing their most deepest secrets.
I know that feeling all too
Do
well.
you?
I do.
Yeah,
I
it's
do.
a gift. It really is. And it's like, after realizing, I'm like, I want my own business. I was ready for an entrepreneurial path, and I really wanted to be independent and earning income that I felt truly, fulfilled and satisfied in.
Ooh, them two words right there. Let me tell you, her story is so, I just love the resilience behind that, right? But I want to touch on the fact, because I want us to talk more about that. You work in a job that you were not fulfilled in,
Right.
right? So many times, and I know you have these conversations because I know I have them with other women who feel like they're obligated to stay there because of the finances.
Oh, yeah.
I can't leave this, I can't. And I think it really aligns with sometimes the lack of security we have in ourselves, that insecurity, the uncertainty, the life of not being satisfied, and also just defaulting to that. And we think that we're supposed to stay there. As women, we believe that we're supposed to be the low man on the totem pole. We feel like that, we've got to put everybody else's needs ahead of ours. But I'm tired. I was tired of crying because I share a similar story, but I was tired of crying about not being fulfilled in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I want to ask you too, like, what do you believe, like, some of the common, like, mindset blocks are, like, that come with women that we face? I just want you to share a little insight on that.
Yeah. Great question. So over the years, I've been doing this for 17 years now, and I've seen people from all walks of life. And there is a common denominator or a common theme that I see. And I think it's just coming down to the confidence and fear of making mistakes, fear of the unknown, is a really big one. Being scared, because we are, creatures of habit. We love to know what to expect, and which is where we get caught into, you know, repetitive habits of
Yeah.
things that we do. Like even that job, it may not be fulfilling and satisfying, but you feel a sense of security knowing that you're getting a paycheck
Yeah.
and it's cushy and there's no risk
Facts.
in that. And, but yet it's not satisfying. And so people are afraid, to step out of their comfort zone and really risk something. So this fear can be driven from all sorts of reasons. And
Yeah,
I think that if you look at it one by one, it's not one specific thing, but it could be a multitude of things together
absolutely.
combined that, I guess you could say, creates that perfect situation where people
Yeah.
will remain where they are.
Yeah. And I agree. And I agree with you so much when you say it's just not one thing. Cause I also believe
Mm.
like sometimes that lack of us wanting to be vulnerable, keeping that strong woman stigma
Yes.
of, we can't show that we're breaking and we're cracking and we can't show that vulnerability. But what I have learned in my own experiences is me having a lack of vulnerability has creates a lack of self-confidence. It creates a lack of authenticity for myself. I never can say I lacked confidence per se, but I lacked confidence to make changes. I lacked confidence to get uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And I know that also allowed me to have to be vulnerable. And now I operate so in my most vulnerable self. And people are like,
Beautiful.
oh, Keisha, I used to like hold my cries in. Like you would not catch me crying. I don't care if I was at a funeral or whatever else, you would not catch me crying. And now I might cry on this podcast right now. Like I'm just to that point, in
Yeah.
that stage in my life. So I do agree with you when it's like there's so many, different levels about that. And especially when it comes to us ladies, because one thing that I know you talk about often is like our feminine power, right? And just really coming into that. And I know there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding that, but I would love for you to share where you see some of the misconceptions, but what feminine power really is and how we can embody that.
Yeah, that's a great one. I think historically women are, well, see, here's the thing. Let me take a step back. Women have a different set of challenges than men do. And I actually went down the rabbit hole these past couple of years, and I found a global study that was done on women in business. It's called the GEM Report. And they've identified a few things that commonly are challenged by women. And one of them, of course, is not owning their worth or their value.
Mm,
And that one is, I think, a really big one, which is where you'll find there's this disparity of, income between men and women, is because women are too afraid to negotiate their salaries. And so you have that. And then you have, the pressures of women also being caregivers and providers. And, but yet, they're very career focused. And so there's that life work balance too. And so that's another challenge. And so, yeah, going back to your question and stuff, I think that, when we really look at, you know, as a woman, what basically comes down to is, what you want to have, how you want to live your
love
life,
that.
and not be afraid to go after it, and not be afraid to hold back because you think, the worrying about what other people may think around
Yeah.
you, I think is really huge. And if you can let that go, women have a huge amount of guilt as well,
Mm.
because we want to serve others and we always want to put other people first. And then when we want to give to ourselves, we feel guilty for doing that.
Oh my God. Such a
Right.
stigma that needs to be broken.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen that. I've seen that in a lot of women. Like I had one specific client that came to me, and she was a hardworking mother, career minded, but she also gave a lot of herself to her children and her family, and her needs were not met. So
Mm.
then she would feel resentful because of that. And then, it was just this vicious cycle that she was going into. And so for her, the focus was to let go a lot of that guilt, to not feel bad for, focusing on herself, and also knowing that, she can still be there for her kids and for her
Ooh,
family, but also while taking care of herself too.
absolutely.
So, it was wonderful to see her go through that transition. And then she goes from that guilt to a place of peace, where she ultimately felt at peace and
Yeah.
happy, and began to recognize that it's important to love herself more,
Yes.
And so there was just all these different things that you can dissect.
Right. It's facts. It
It's a
is
lot.
facts. Ooh. But I think that and I think because when we say that, a lot of people want to run because it's a lot, right? But when you are on the journey of transformation, you have to understand that sometimes you are literally like reconditioning your entire life. So, yes, it's a lot. But what I want us to stop doing is running from that, running from the work that is required to, do that, to
Yes,
really embrace our authentic self. Because I have those conversations too, where they really don't know who they are. They know that they're a mom. They know that they're working. They know that they are, a wife and whatever else. But when you ask the question, are you? They really can't answer that question.
I agree.
So that's where us as coaches come in, because we're now going to become your guide to help you become your authentic self. And it really has to start from inside.
For
Me
sure.
and you have both walked that journey. We both had to dig deep and discover who we were destined to be. And once we really figured that out, now it's time to visualize that and bring it to life.
Yeah.
And I love that you not only work with them on a personal level, but also on an entrepreneurial level, as like me too. And I love that because I love having conversations with women who do things similar to what I do, because we are better as a collective, right? And when it comes to us really helping women embrace who they are unapologetically, I want a team with me. I don't know about you, but I want a team of other people who are going to help me spread that message.
Yeah. Women are blessed to be working with you because I think
Oh,
that you have, you know, gone to the other side and you've been able to see the benefits of it and how it can really help another woman to be able to be free,
yes.
really. And there's so much power in that, and that's where the
Yes. I
empowerment
thank you.
comes from, right? Circling back, when you're talking about empowerment and feminine power, you're looking at it as from a place of being your authentic self, no matter who
Yes.
you are, and
Period.
owning it and loving that part of you that is that feminine side, and utilizing that feminine energy
Yep.
to your advantage, because it's not just you, it's also all the people that you're impacting around you. Because even your family, your children, your partner, your parents, whoever, you know, they're going to benefit too. So that
Absolutely.
empowerment that is coming from you is actually very attractive.
Thank
Like
you.
people are going to be, you'll become like a magnet, and people will
Yes.
be wanting that too. And so you're, embodying that, and you're being that magnet, and then helping to lift and guide another woman, and that's what we do. And,
Yes, it
and,
is.
and for me, I just love when I witness, a woman who struggles with first loving herself and
Yep.
giving herself that permission to be who she is, whoever she is.
Yep.
And then from there, the power that comes with it. And then being so sure and so certain, like, I don't want to do this, I want to do that.
Yep.
And that right there is like, boom, I love it. It's just so
Yep.
awesome to watch that happen,
It
right?
is. It
And
really is.
that is the empowerment. That's the empowerment to unapologetically, like you said, just make that choice to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to become a painter. I'm not going to worry about, what other people are thinking. This is what I want to do,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So,
Because we will let outside influence stop us from stepping into our dreams. And one of my like quotes that I say often is that it's never too late to elevate, because there's so many times where it'd be like, oh, my kids are grown now, I don't have time. If anything, this really should be now when you are trying to step into that,
yeah,
because you really don't have any excuses anymore.
that's right.
We hide behind being a mom and being a wife, and I can't do it because I can't. You don't have no excuse now. Although I don't believe in hiding behind anything to step into our power, I hear more of the excuses with the younger kids and things like that, but now you don't have any excuses. So what's holding you back? It is
Mhm.
never too late. I have worked with women as old as 65 years old for them to discover what their purpose is in life, what they
Amazing.
want to do, something that they really never thought that they would get a chance to do. And they're doing it right now. That is what it's all about for me, is just really helping people understand that process and identifying what's inside of you. Everybody's not going to like that. And one thing I definitely want people to understand, everybody is not going to like you in your authenticity. They're not going to like it. They're not going to like it because you know why? You have a level of confidence that they're envious of.
Or
You
they're
know,
uncomfortable with it
yes.
because they have that, uncomfortableness within themselves. Those, see, this is a really great piece right here that you're bringing up. It reminds me of the work from Debbie Ford with
Mhm.
the shadow effect. Whatever you're pointing the finger at to somebody else, how many fingers are pointing back? There's three. So when you see something in another person that you're not liking, I invite people to take a look within themselves and see what
Yes.
is it that's making them feel uncomfortable about that, and really dissecting that. And that right there is it's not a judging thing.
Right.
It's more of owning your light side as well as your shadow side, right? Because there's gifts in both of them. And sometimes the things that we view as, not so good qualities are actually there because of something. There's a reason why. And so, yeah, when somebody is telling you, they don't like this new you, for example, let's say you just decide one day you want to be empowered and you're like, I'm going to do this, and somebody doesn't like it, that's not on you to worry about.
I say all the time, that's a them problem.
Yeah.
Them.
You're just a mirror that's reflecting back to them on something that they are struggling with within themselves.
Yeah.
And so, you got to learn that there's all these people walking around and we just trigger each other because those
Yeah.
triggers.
Hey, them unidentified and
Yeah.
but sometimes undiagnosed triggers
Right.
that a lot of times hold so many of us back.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, I like to work under pressure, and I like to procrastination helps me get things done. That is a mind thing. That's it's playing tricks on you. That doesn't work for real people.
Right.
It doesn't work. So
Yeah.
like, don't stop putting that in your head. Really start to focus. And my recommendation, and I know Mina's recommendation too, is to get a coach that is going to help you. I want you to look at a coach as the same way someone looks at a basketball coach, a baseball coach, a football coach. We are on the sidelines giving you plays to help you be the best version. We are here to help you step into your unapologetic self and identify what that is first, but also help you step into that. And whatever that looks like, whether it's on a personal note, whether it's from the professional level, entrepreneurship, whatever that looks like. Because one thing that I encourage and why I work with both is because they have to be aligned. You have to
Mhm.
be purpose driven in the personal realm as well as the entrepreneurial realm. Because if you are not, things are not going to work. It's just going to be a big havoc mess. And I don't want that for you. So you look at a coach as someone that is giving you plays to help you be successful, but is also supporting you, is also giving you insight, also, kind of holding you accountable.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you look for in a coach. Those are the things that we offer, and although, like I said, we offer similar shares, we have different approaches
Mhm.
for that. So, I want Mina to share more about, her journey and her coaching. And please just let the listeners know, how you're making people change their lives.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I think that, when we see it as, we don't have to do this alone, and it's okay to get the support. And so what I'm hearing you saying is that, having a coach by your side will only be beneficial for whatever
Yeah.
place you are, to be able to help you to get past those obstacles and see those blind spots because we don't see them ourselves. And then just being that cheerleader, on the sideline, just cheering you on. And, you know, tuning out those naysayers
That part,
because,
because you're gonna have some.
right. Yeah. And some of them are in the form of family members, right?
Ooh, I think
So,
we need to do another episode about that.
right? Yes. And so a coach can come in and be an unbiased
Yep.
person to be able to help you when you're thinking about like this new business idea, for example, whatever it is. Because when you go to your friends and family and your partner, they're going to give their opinions, their fears, their projections. And so having that coach can help you to really take a look at everything more clearly,
Yep.
from all perspectives. And
I
so
agree.
that's why I think it's really important to, consider if you are, and
Yep.
if that's the path. But here's the thing, we want to just look at how, I mean, for me, going back to your question, when people come to me, I like to first start with looking at who they are, their entire, life. And I have this questionnaire that really helps me to better understand who they are, looking at where their challenges are, and then what they want, their objectives, what they want to focus on, and then be able to support them on that path and journey. And so, you know, first we come up with a plan, a game plan, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
I have this blueprint that we use. It's called a 7-step project plan, and that is also, of course, going to be offered for as a gift to the audience. And
And it
so,
will be, y'all.
yeah, so you can get that copy, and it gives you a really nice format so that you're super clear on what you want to focus on, what your milestones are, what your action plans are, what are the resources that you need to pull it off. And so it's very simple, 7 steps, and you get this really nice plan. And then from there, I coach the person on, along the way
Mhm.
where they get stopped. Like if they get stuck and they have some fears coming up, we talk about it. And we literally like look at each one by one and see, well, is this fear going to support you in what you're
Yeah.
wanting to achieve? No, obviously. And
Right.
so, what can we do? And it's
Mhm.
all about like changing habits, changing patterns, because our daily habit where we are stuck is also all of our thoughts, right? Everything starts
Yep.
with a thought. And when we think of something that is being really a fear, it's just a fear that's projected into the future,
That part.
and it doesn't happen. I remember hearing a statistic somewhere. I don't remember, I could be wrong on the exact amount, but I think it was something like 97 or 98% of the fears that we project
Okay.
never happen. Exactly. Right.
Yep.
Right.
I love it. I love it. And I think that is like, I'm really glad that you brought that up because I want people to understand that that level of insecurity, that level of fear, it's not there. It doesn't have to exist. Are things going to happen? Yes. Are obstacles going to occur? Absolutely, people. But I want you to understand that that's not your defining moment. And it still is okay for you to still walk in your authentic self. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be scared. Okay. I would sit here and be lying to y'all if I said that there were things that I do that I'm not sometimes scared about stepping out and doing, but that's me being vulnerable, but that's me being authentic. I'm authentically telling you that I don't do everything as confident as I would like to, but that doesn't stop me. I don't
Yeah.
let it hold me back. And that's where the difference comes in. So I don't want you to hold yourself back based off of that fear, based off of the insecurities. I really want you to do it anyway. Do it anyway. Step
100%.
into yourself anyway. I love this conversation. We could probably talk all day about this
We
because
really
really
can.
helping people step into their authentic being is just super important to me. But please let us know what's coming up for you. We're in 2025 right now. What's up for you for the rest of the year? Anything specific?
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of things cooking. I got,
Love it.
yeah. Yeah. I'm really blessed that I have a daughter. I have a 5-year-old and been able to, you know, spend more time with her, being involved in her school activities and things. And so there's going to be a lot of, trips this week and going camping and all that
I
fun stuff
love
with
it.
her and going exploring. She's my little partner in crime, I call her.
I love it. I love
I
it.
love it. Going on adventures, yes. And
I
she's
love it.
so like she's not afraid. It's really cool to watch her, to just dive right into something, and walk into a room full of
Oh,
strangers and just start striking conversations and making friends. Like, I just
yes.
love
Sound
it.
like she get that from mom. It sounds like she get it from mom.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, I was not like this. I was actually so shy and so afraid. I
Really?
would literally go hide behind my mom or somebody.
Oh,
But yeah, so but things have changed now, and so yeah, I am a bit out there when it comes, but I do contribute it to this work that I've done as well
and I was
too.
just want to say that's the power of your transformation, Mina, and I
Yeah,
love that for you. Like,
yeah,
I really love that I hate that, and I want to say that too. Like, I don't like the experiences that we have to go through to become who we are today,
mhm.
but you know. I just want to say that I think that your resilience is just amazing, and
Thank
it's
you,
definitely rubbing off on your baby girl. She's you now. She's not the little girl shy Mina. She is the empowered, transformative Mina, just as a 5-year old. And I love that you are
thanks,
instilling that in her. She sees her mom. She sees the resilience. She sees the strength in you. She sees that, and I so love that for y'all. I
thank
love
you.
that that's your partner in crime.
I love it. Yeah, thank you. That's what I want for her. I want for her to not be afraid.
Yep.
But see, going back to that, to when you're talking about, being afraid.
Hmm.
Everybody is afraid. You
Yep.
can't take that away.
Yep.
So do it anyways. And I want to really, you know, emphasize that when we take that step, even though when we are afraid, we can actually allow ourselves to grow. And
Yes.
when we make a mistake, I invite people to not look at it as a bad thing, because if you make a mistake, how else are you going to learn something? Just like any sport, you have to
Yep.
practice, 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 right? And so it's no different in life, in anything you do, in relationships, in business, in family, in parenting. So, mistakes give you something to look at, to see what you could do better or differently next time,
Absolutely.
right?
The
So,
opportunity to learn.
and
The
so, yeah,
opportunity to learn. I love that.
and
I
not be
love that.
afraid, because it's part of our nature
It
to be
is.
afraid.
It is. It is. And I'm glad that you reiterated that. It is a part of our nature. Is an emotion that is never going to go anywhere, people, but we still have to act on it.
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
like it's like going to a new job, your first day. You don't know everything. You're going into a new job, but your fear is not going to stop you from going into that job and making that money.
Yeah.
So operate in the same thing when it comes to you stepping into your most empowering self. Do whatever
Yeah.
you got to do to make that happen.
Exactly. And that's
I
the same
love
with
it.
business too. So here's my thing. I'm,
Yes.
starting some new things this year, which, I've been pouring, love into this project for over a year now. Like I shared with you how
Yeah.
I discovered the GEM report. So I've taken that information and I've turned it into a course, an online course.
Nice.
And I had my first masterclass launch back in November, December. And it was a 6-week masterclass. And I incorporated those list of challenges that were identified in the GEM report to address those for
Mm.
women in their businesses. And so this has been a labor of love of mine that I've been really, really putting a lot of
I
time
love
into.
it.
But at the same time, this is something new that I'm doing. I have to
Yeah.
learn a whole new software. I've been, learning how to develop my program, and just even the content and everything. It's just, this is all new.
Yeah.
But
But you doing it anyway, and I love that for
yeah,
you.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, this has been a great, great project of mine. I've created a
Good.
lot of different workshops, I've done so many things. I produced a lot of events, co-produced also with some
Yes.
wonderful other amazing coaches and public figures. This is not something new to me because
Right.
I've seen it in the coaching industry. I know
Right.
so many people who have these kind of programs, and I've been actually been a participant in a lot of these. And so, me also having that experience of creating educational content is
Mhm.
nothing new. But this piece here for me is new because I am working with something like a totally different animal when it comes to doing it online.
Yeah.
So, I'm so old school. I used to do a lot of these workshops live in person.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
Yeah,
know
and
you got
so
it
times
though.
have changed now, and there's more, people that had moved away from, we couldn't even do live events anymore, 4 years ago. So
Right.
there's that.
Yeah, that's a fact. Woo, Lord.
Yeah.
The transformation in that by itself. But I think that that's awesome. And I know
Yeah.
that it's going to be successful.
Thank you.
Mina's information will be listed in the podcast description notes, as well as her free gift that she is going to be gifting all of the listeners. So make sure you guys go grab that. Please let us know where we can find you at on social media.
Yes, yeah, you can. You're welcome to find me on Facebook as Mina Satori, and Instagram is Coach Mina Satori. So it's
All
at
right.
Coach Mina Satori. Yeah,
I love it. And that also will be in the podcast notes, guys. So make sure that
thank
you
you.
guys follow her. Make sure you download the free gift and make sure you reach out to her and give her your feedback on that gift. Or if it's something that you want to have another conversation with her about, please feel free to reach out as well. If it's something you want to have a conversation with me about, do not hesitate to reach out. Listen, it is all about us empowering ourselves and becoming the best version of ourselves. And whether that is something that you think would be a fit for me to help you with, or Mina, either way it goes, as long as you are striving to embark on that journey, that's what
Yeah,
matters most. Okay.
yeah.
So listen, y'all, we are going to get out of here. Mina, it has been a pleasure.
Thank
We
you.
really could have chatted all day long. You already know, but we definitely, I'm so glad that you came and shared your insight on Empowering Real Talk.
Thank
And
you for having me. I'm
absolutely,
so grateful that we were able to have this conversation too.
me
You're
too.
amazing, and
Thank you.
what amazing contribution you're making. And
Appreciate
I'm
that.
sure the people are loving you and following you. So it's great.
I hope so.
Yeah.
They better love my raw, uncut self.
Well, yeah.
But no,
This
guys,
is
you guys.
this is
uh,
this is it right here.
Yeah,
Candid conversations and how where it goes, and I hope that
absolutely.
people can hopefully walk away from this with some new insight, or
Absolutely.
maybe
And a
even
free gift from Mina, y'all. So
yeah.
make sure that y'all check that out, okay? So I'm definitely going to check it out. I definitely am interested to see more and see it myself, y'all. So listen, y'all, make sure y'all have subscribed if you have not already so you do not miss the conversations that are necessary. All right. We are out of here. Stay uplifted, stay encouraged, stay empowered, baby. Till next time.